As we know, the war between Israel and Iran end on 12 days from 13th to 24th June 2025. And do you know what's the actual damage on both sides? On the 12th of June 2025, the IAEA that declared Iran non-compliant with its nuclear obligations. Israel began strikes the following day. Israel launched surprise attacks under the code name of Operation Rising Lion on key military and nuclear facilities in Iran on 13 June 2025. Israeli air and ground forces assassinated some of Iran's prominent military leaders, nuclear scientists, and politicians, and damaged or destroyed Iran's air defenses. At least 6 of its top generals, a senior politician, and at least 5 nuclear scientists. According to Iranian state media and officials also, Iran retaliated with Operation True Promise 3 and fired waves of missile and drone strikes against Israeli cities and military sites. Over 550 ballistic missiles and more than 1,000 explosive drones were launched by Iran during the war. The first wave of Iranian retaliation included about 100 missiles and 100 drones. Those and later retaliation strike hit military and government sites. The attacks killed 28 civilians. Houthis in Yemen also fired several missiles at Israel in an adjunct of the Red Sea crisis. The United States, which defended Israel against Iranian missiles and drones, took offensive action on the 9th day of the war by bombing 3 Iranian nuclear sites.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Iran retaliated by firing missiles at a U.S. base in Qatar. Operation Rising Lion, Israel attack on Iran at nuclear facilities like Arak nuclear complex. The IR-40 reactor containment building was destroyed by a direct hit on 19 June. Esfahan Nuclear Technology Center. A metallic uranium production facility at the Esfahan Nuclear Technology Center was damaged or destroyed. The uranium conversion facility, which is used for reconverting enriched uranium to produce nuclear fuel, was damaged. Fordow Fuel Enrichment Plant. The Atomic Energy Organization of Iran stated that the Fordow Fuel Enrichment Plant had been struck by an airstrike on 12th June and that there had been limited damage to the site. Imam Hossein University. An airstrike struck a building at the Imam Hossein University, a branch of the Iranian military. Iran Centrifuge Technology Company. Israeli airstrikes caused damage to 2 buildings at the Iran Centrifuge Technology Company in Karaj, which were used to produce parts for centrifuges. Natanz Nuclear Facility. The Pilot Fuel Enrichment Plant, a multi-story enrichment hall with thousands of advanced gas centrifuges used to produce 60% enriched uranium, was destroyed with at least 3 explosive impacts visible in satellite imagery. Parchin Military Complex. Multiple airstrikes on June 12th and June 15th caused damage to the Parchin Military Complex, which is used to develop and manufacture explosive materials and advanced munitions. Tehran Nuclear Research Center. An Israeli airstrike caused damage to a building at the Tehran Nuclear Research Center, which was used to manufacture and test advanced centrifuge rotors. Chemical weapon facilities. Shahid Maisami Group Israeli airstrikes destroyed 2 buildings at the Shahid Maisami Group complex in Karaj. Government locations. Iranian Ministry of Defense. Damage occurred at the headquarters of the Iranian Ministry of Defense. Organization of Defensive Innovation and Research. Damage occurred to the Organization of Defensive Innovation and Research building. Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The library of the Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs building in Tehran was struck. Iranian Ministry of Justice. The Iranian Ministry of Justice building in western Tehran was struck and sustained damage. Iranian Ministry of Intelligence. The Iranian Ministry of Intelligence building in Tehran was struck and sustained damage. Iranian Law Enforcement Command. The Iranian Law Enforcement Command building in Tehran was struck and sustained damage. Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting Headquarters. Israeli forces caused a fire and significant damage to the Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting Headquarters building in Tehran. Evin Prison On 23rd of June, an airstrike stoked the main gate of the prison. Palestine Square countdown clock. On 23rd June, the countdown clock was reportedly destroyed military installations. IRGC headquarters. Damage occurred at the headquarters of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Tehran. At least one person was killed in the strike. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force headquarters. Damage occurred at the headquarters of the Quds Force. IRGC Basij headquarters. Damage occurred to the headquarters of the Basij, one of the 5 branches of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. IRGC Khomeini headquarters. Damage occurred to the regional headquarters of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Khomeini. Air bases. Iranian Air Force 2nd Tactical Air Base. Numerous buildings at the Tabriz Shahid Madani International Airport were destroyed. The airbase also houses SA-6 gainful surface-to-air missile systems. Iranian Air Force 1st Tactical Air Base, the Mehrabad International Airport, which also serves as an air base for Iranian Air Force, was struck by Israeli missiles. In a different set of airstrikes, 2 F-14 Tomcat fighter planes on the tarmac were destroyed. Asadabad Airport. Several Hajj Qassam medium-range ballistic missiles on their launchers were struck and destroyed along the runway at the Asadabad Airport near the village of Bujin. Iranian Air Force 14th Tactical Air Base. An aerial refueling aircraft at the Mashhad Shahid Hasheminejad International Airport was destroyed. Khatami Air Base. Damage occurred to Khatami Air Base. The airbase houses F-14A/AM Tomcats, Chengdu FT-7Ns, and Pilatus PC-7 aircraft. Missile bases. Amman Missile Base. Several buildings, which housed Ghadar 110 medium-range ballistic missiles at the Amman Missile Base, sustained considerable damage. Tehran Ballistic Missile Air Defense Base. Mossad damaged the Iranian Ballistic Missile Air Defense Base, located near Tehran, using a drone. IRGC Tabriz missile launch sites. 2 IRGC missile launch sites were destroyed near Tabriz, East Azerbaijan province. Kermanshah Underground Missile Facility. The Kermanshah Underground Missile Facility, an underground base of the IRGC Air Force, which houses Qiyam-1 and Fateh 110 ballistic missiles, was reportedly destroyed. Bid Ghane Ballistic Missile Base. 2 buildings at the Bid Ghane Ballistic Missile Base, which likely stored medium-range ballistic missiles, were destroyed. Khorramabad Missile Base. Several storage, missile launch, and administrative buildings at the Khorramabad Missile Base were damaged. Shiraz Missile Base. The missile base sustained any noticeable damage, but several vegetation fires occurred in the area surrounding the base. Garmzar Missile Fuel Production Facility. The missile fuel production facility in Garmzar sustained damage. Tehrani Moghadam Missile Base. Extensive damage occurred to the Tehrani Moghadam Missile Base following 9 Israeli airstrikes. Najafabad Missile Base. Damage from several Israeli airstrikes occurred to the Najafabad Missile Base. Kojir Missile Production Complex. Israeli airstrikes struck the Kojir Missile Production Complex, causing a large explosion and fire. Shahid Soltani Garrison, an IRGC missile storage and production site which houses Shahab-3, Qiyam, Fateh, and Fath ballistic missiles, caused damage. Other military bases. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Ground Forces, 29th Nabi Akram Division. An ammunition depot for the ground forces' 29th Nabi Akram Division was destroyed in Kermanshah Province. IRGC Zanjan Military Base. An airstrike caused damage, a fire, and an explosion at the barracks of the military base in Zanjan. Kandab Air Defense Group. Airstrike killed 2 Iranian air defense officers at the Arak nuclear complex. IRGC Hazrat-e Ruhollah Unit. An Israeli airstrike in the city of Khomeini targeted IRGC Hazrat-e Ruhollah Unit. IRGC Piranshar Military Base. Significant damage occurred at the Piranshar Military Base, where a radar operated by the IRGC was struck. IRGC Gazanchi Military Base. IRGC Avaz Military Base. Damage occurred to the Avaz Military Base in Avaz. Abadan Naval Base. The Iranian naval base near the city of Abadan was damaged or destroyed. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Ground Forces 216th Armored Brigade. An ammunition depot for the Neza's 216th Armored Brigade was destroyed in the city of Zanjan. IRGC Base in Sardasht, West Azerbaijan. an unspecified IRGC base was struck. IRGC Shahid Karazi Barracks. Damage occurred to the IRGC Shahid Karazi Barracks near Shahin Shahr. Radar installations. IRGC COD's Gadir radar. The Gadir radar operated by the IRGC for Western Tehran was damaged. Sabashi radar site. The Sabashi radar site, located in the Katam Ol Anbiya Western Air Defense Zone, was destroyed. Other military targets. Shiraz Electronics Industries. Damage was done to the Shiraz Electronics Industries building in the city of Shiraz. Esfahan Ammunition Factory. An ammunition factory in Esfahan, which was used to produce kamikaze drones and ballistic missiles, was destroyed. Iran Helicopter Support and Renewal Company. Damage occurred to the Iran Helicopter Support and Renewal Company building in Tehran. Iran Aircraft Manufacturing Industries Corporation. Damage occurred to the Iran Aircraft Manufacturing Industries Corporation in Shahin Shahr. Hospitals. Farabi Hospital. An Israeli strike severely damaged the Farabi Hospital in Kermanshah. The IDF stated that the hospital was not the intended target. Oil/fuel facilities. Najafabad Oil Refinery. Israel struck a natural gas processing facility at the South Pars gas field, which triggered an explosion and fire. Shahar Ray Oil Refinery. Israel struck the Fajri Jam gas refinery in Bushehr province, causing a fire. Shahran Oil Depot. Israel struck the Shahran Oil Depot just north of Tehran, Fajri Jam gas refinery, the ISW. And the New York Times reported that the oil depot holds 3 days' worth of fuel for Tehran in at least 11 storage tanks. South Pars gas field. Israel struck a natural gas processing facility at the South Pars gas field. Civilian attacks. Nobonyad Square residential building. A 14-story residential building near Nobonyad Square in northeastern Tehran was hit, and a section of it collapsed following an Israeli airstrike. Iranian state television reported that 60 people were killed, including 20 children. Farda Motors Boroujerd factory. Extensive damage occurred to the Farda Motors factory located in the city of Boroujerd. One holding tower. The one holding tower in Khazare Shirin was damaged from an airstrike. As we talk about the locations where Israel attacked Iran, let's talk about those locations where Iran resituated and attacked Israel. Iran launched Operation True Promise 3 and attacked many locations in Israel, causing a large amount of damage. So, the war ended in 13 days. Military installations. Glilot military base. Iranian missiles struck the Glilot military base in Ramat HaSharon during the war. Tel Nof Air Base. Iranian missiles struck the Tel Nof base in Rehovot during the war. The Kiryat. A ballistic missile struck and damaged the vicinity of the Kiryat, an IDF headquarters in Tel Aviv. Israeli Military Intelligence School. A warehouse building within the Israeli Military Intelligence School at Camp Moshe Dayan in Tel Aviv was destroyed and caught fire after being struck by a ballistic missile. Government locations. Ministry of Interior Office in Haifa. On June 20th, a high-rise tower housing government offices in Haifa sustained damage, although apparently did not suffer a direct hit. American interests. United States Embassy branch office in Tel Aviv. The shockwave from an Iranian ballistic missile impact in Tel Aviv caused minor damage to the United States Embassy branch office in Tel Aviv. United States Consulate General in Erbil. The United States shot down 2 one-way attacks drones near the United States Consulate General in Erbil, Iraq. Hospitals. Soroka Medical Center. The Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba, the main hospital in southern Israel, was struck by a ballistic missile. Iran stated that the hospital had not been an intended target. Research facilities. Weizmann Institute of Science. A scientific research center in Rehovot was struck by a ballistic missile. Gavyam Negev Advanced Technologies Park. Areas hit on June 20th included the Gavyam Negev Advanced Technologies Park in Beersheba, oil power utility facilities, Bazan Oil Refinery Complex. 3 people were killed when several ballistic missiles struck the Bazan Oil Refinery Complex and the nearby oil pipelines in Haifa. Haifa Power Plant. 2 Iranian ballistic missiles struck the Haifa power plant, causing damage and a fire. Wastewater treatment facility. An Iranian ballistic missile struck a wastewater treatment facility in Herzliya. Eshkol Power Station, Ashdod. An Iranian missile struck the power plant on 23rd of June 2025, causing power outrages. Civilian attacks. Bat Yam. a ballistic missile struck a residential building in Bat Yam, which caused major damage. The missile also caused damage to 61 other buildings in the surrounding area. Around 200 people were injured and many killed, but Israel hid. Tamra residential building. At least 4 Arab Israelis, including a woman, her 2 daughters, and 1 other female relative, were killed by a ballistic missile striking a residential building in Tamra, Ramat Gan residential buildings. A ballistic missile struck a residential building in Ramat Gan, killing a woman. Approximately 100 residents were displaced from their homes due to the missile barrage. Rishon LeZion residential buildings. A ballistic missile struck multiple homes in Rishon LeZion, killing 2 people and injuring at least 17 others. Haifa residential building. A ballistic missile struck a residential building in Haifa, injuring 2 Israeli civilians. Northern District. A ballistic missile was intercepted, but struck the Northern District, causing minor damage. Petah Tikva building. 4 people were killed when a missile hit a 20-story building in Petah Tikva during the early hours of June 16. Bnei Brak, Israel. 1 person was killed in a missile attack on Bnei Brak. Tel Aviv, Israel. 2 missiles reportedly hit Tel Aviv on June 16th, causing some injuries and significant material damage. Financial District in Ramat Gan. The Financial District in Ramat Gan was hit on June 19th. 2 people were seriously injured, and at least 20 suffered lesser injuries. Material damage was substantial. Holon residential buildings. A missile strike on June 19th hit a complex of multi-story residential buildings in Holon. At least 16 people were injured, 4 of them seriously. Beit Shehan. A residential building was struck by a UAV on June 21st. Multiple locations, including Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Nes Ziona, Beersheba. On June 22nd, 40 Iranian missiles were launched at Tel Aviv, the town of Nes Ziona and Haifa. 86 people were injured. Beersheba. On June 24th at 5:40 a.m. Israeli time, an Iranian missile hit a residential building in Beersheba. 4 people were killed and 20 injured. The International Commission of Jurists and some other legal scholars saw the Israeli strikes as a violation of international law. The United Nations and most countries expressed deep concern over Israel's strikes and called for a diplomatic solution. The strikes were condemned by most Muslim-majority and Arab states, including Egypt, Jordan, Pakistan, and Turkey. Israel's strikes were also condemned by Armenia, Brazil, China, Cuba, Japan, Russia, and South Africa. Meanwhile, Argentina, Germany, Ukraine, and the United States said the strikes on Iran were justified to prevent nuclear proliferation and said Iran should agree to a nuclear deal promptly. Israel and Iran agreed to a ceasefire after insistence from the U.S. Iran suspended cooperation with the IAEA. All the information in this video is collected from different sources like Wikipedia and official channels. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you like the information with complete details and analysis. Don't forget to hit like and comment below if there's any location under attack is missing.